Everyone remembers the 90s as this golden era of automotive excellence, but I'm about to shatter some illusions. These 11 so-called legendary cars were actually money pits disguised as dream machines. If you owned any of these, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Let's dive in. Car number one, the Dodge Viper. Yeah, I said it, the Viper. Everyone drools over this thing, but let me tell you the reality. This 8.4-liter monster had no traction control, no anti-lock brakes in early models, and a side exhaust that literally cooked your leg getting out. Ouch! This one's huge because people forget this car was undrivable for anyone who wasn't a professional racer. The interior was cheaper than a base model Civic, the soft top leaked like a sieve, and replacement parts cost a fortune. Sure, it had massive horsepower, but horsepower means nothing when you spin into a ditch. Insurance companies treated Viper owners like they were driving land missiles, and they weren't wrong. Car number two, the Mazda RX-7FD. The RX-7, with its rotary engine, is worshipped like a cult icon. But the reality? That rotary engine was a ticking time bomb. These things burned oil by design. You had to add a quart every 1,000 miles like it was regular maintenance. The apex seals failed constantly, and when they did, you were looking at a complete engine rebuild that cost more than the car was worth. Here's the game changer nobody talks about. Gas mileage was absolutely abysmal. We're talking 16 miles per gallon combined. The turbo system was complex and expensive to maintain, and the cooling system couldn't handle spirited driving without overheating. Beautiful car? Absolutely. Reliable transportation? Not even close. Car number three, the Mitsubishi 3000 GT VR4. All-wheel drive, all-wheel steering, twin turbos, active aero. Sounds amazing on paper, right? Wrong. This car was over-engineered to the point of being ridiculous. The twin-turbo setup was notoriously unreliable. The transfer case failed regularly, and that rear spoiler that automatically raised and lowered, it broke constantly and cost a fortune to fix. The car weighed 4,200 pounds, which meant it handled like a boat. And here's the kicker. It was impossible to work on yourself. Everything required special tools and 3 days of labor. Simple timing belt job? That'll be $3,000, please. Drop VIP in the comments if you feel like you're getting premium advice for free. Car number four, the Chevrolet Corvette C4. The C4 Corvette was GM's plastic fantastic disaster. The interior fell apart if you looked at it wrong. Buttons stopped working. The digital dash failed constantly, and the squeaks and rattles made it sound like a grocery cart going down the highway. This one's huge because people remember the performance but forget about the quality. The OptiSpark ignition system was located under the water pump, which means when it failed, you were in for a massive repair bill. The automatic transmission felt like it belonged in a truck, not a sports car. Those pop-up headlights got stuck constantly, and the ride quality was so harsh, it felt like you were driving on square wheels. Car number five, the BMW 850i. The 850i was supposed to be BMW's flagship, their ultimate grand tourer. Instead, it became their ultimate money pit. The V12 engine had two of everything, which means twice the sensors, twice the problems, and twice the repair bills. Here's the game changer. This car had electrical issues that would make a Jaguar owner feel better about their life choices. The climate control failed constantly. The electronic suspension was a nightmare when it broke, and the transmission grenaded itself without warning. Fuel economy? Try 12 miles per gallon. These cars sold for over $100,000 new, and you can barely give them away today because nobody wants the maintenance nightmare. Car number six, the Chrysler TC by Maserati. This might be the biggest automotive joke of the 90s. Chrysler slapped a Maserati badge on a glorified LeBaron convertible and charged twice the price. The build quality was atrocious. The Maserati-designed engine wasn't any more reliable than the regular Chrysler motor, and the whole thing was just badge engineering gone wrong. The leather cracked within months, the top mechanism failed regularly, and parts availability was a nightmare. You'll thank me later for staying away from this automotive identity crisis. It cost $33,000 when a comparable LeBaron was $16,000, and you got basically nothing for that extra money except embarrassment. Car number 7, the Ford Probe GT. Ford tried to make this front-wheel drive coupe into a sports car, but you can't polish a turd. The Probe looked decent, but drove like a disappointment. That Mazda-sourced V6 had no low-end torque. The front-wheel drive setup meant torque steer that would rip the steering wheel out of your hands, and the interior quality was bargain basement at best. Third-gear synchros wore out fast in the manual, and the automatic slipped constantly. The electrical system had gremlins, power windows failed, and dashboard lights stopped working randomly. This car was supposed to replace the Mustang at one point. Can you imagine? Thank goodness that didn't happen.
No.
Car number 8, the Cadillac Alante. Cadillac flew bodies from Italy to Detroit for final assembly, which sounds fancy until you realize the execution was terrible. The North Star Vive 8 that came later was notorious for head gasket failures that required the engine to be removed to fix properly. The hardtop storage system was complicated and broke often, the digital dash failed constantly, and the build quality was inconsistent. This one's huge because Cadillac marketed this as their halo car, and instead it became a statement about everything wrong with American luxury cars in the 90s. You could buy one today for $5,000, and it's still overpriced because of the maintenance nightmare waiting for you. Car number 9, the Nissan 300ZX Twin Turbo. The 300ZX Twin Turbo is considered a legend, but working on this thing was absolute hell. The engine bay was so cramped that changing spark plugs required removing the intake manifold. A simple tune-up that should take an hour took all day and cost a fortune in labor. The twin turbo system was complex and expensive to maintain, and the T-top models leaked like they were designed to be convertibles. Here's the game changer. The cooling system couldn't handle the heat from those turbos during spirited driving, leading to overheating and head gasket failures. The clutch on manual models wore out fast if you actually used all that power. Beautiful car? Yes. Practical to own? Absolutely not. Car number 10, the Mercedes-Benz SL 500. Mercedes in the 90s had a reputation for bulletproof reliability, but the R129 SL was the exception. The hydraulic top system failed constantly and cost thousands to repair. The wiring harness biodegraded because Mercedes used cheap insulation that literally turned to dust over time. The air suspension leaked and was expensive to replace, and the automatic climate control system was overly complex and broke regularly. You'll thank me later for avoiding this money pit. The instrument cluster had failing pixels, the seat motors stopped working, and a simple service could run you $1,000. These cars depreciated heavily because nobody wanted to deal with the repair bills. How many people do you think actually know this? Drop your percentage guess. Car number 11, the Honda Civic. The 90s Honda Civic is worshipped like it's the second coming of automotive perfection, but let me tell you the truth. Nobody wants to admit. These things became theft magnets that insurance companies refused to cover affordably. The theft rate was so insane that owning one meant paying premium insurance rates. Here's the game changer. Yes, they were reliable, but they were also boring, underpowered, and had interiors that felt cheaper than a fast food toy. That legendary D-Series engine everyone raves about? It made a whopping 106 horsepower in the base model. The seats were uncomfortable on long drives, the road noise was deafening on the highway, and the thin sheet metal meant these things crumpled like aluminum cans in accidents. Every teenager with a can of spray paint turned these into rolling embarrassments with cheap body kits and exhausts that sounded like angry bees. Finding an unmolested example today is impossible because they've all been chopped up or stolen for parts. Sure, they ran forever, but so does a Timex watch, and that doesn't make it legendary. So there you have it. 11 legendary 90s cars that were actually trash in disguise. If you owned any of these and have stories to share, drop them in the comments below. Smash that like button if this video opened your eyes to the truth, and subscribe because I'm dropping reality checks about cars every single week. Hit that notification bell so you don't miss the next one. Now get out there and make smart car decisions.